when Adam lashes out and Juliet presses the page repeatedly for Warner to pick her up, only for him to burst in the room, pull her into his arms, and upon finding out that Adam kicked her out of his house, he already starts planning to set up her friends in his private training quarters, unlike his initial reaction the day before. Hi, Sam and Mabuhay. I'm Dominic, aka FiliSwissed, and welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the title of the video, we're changing it up a little bit. I'm bringing back book reviews, as I've done once upon a time on my blog many moons ago. What will be different is that I'm not doing a book review necessarily for each volume I read from a series, but the series as a whole. Unless it's not part of a series, then yes, of course. If you've been following me on social, like on Instagram or TikTok, you would have seen my post about my book haul, thanks to Orell Füssli, and after I've completed each volume of the series I'm reading. So today, I am reviewing the Shatter Me series by Tahereh Mafi. I finished all the books, put my thoughts together, and now I can share them with you. If you haven't finished the series yet, just a heads up, there will be spoilers. In this review, I'll be talking about how it compares to other books in the genre, what kept me reading, my thoughts on the writing, the Warner versus Adam love triangle, favorite scenes that live rent free in my head, and my reaction to the ending. So, lots to do, lots to cover. Let's get into it. The Shatter Me series is a young adult dystopian series that follows Juliet, a girl with a lethal touch, in a world controlled by a ruthless organization called the Reestablishment. But beyond that premise, the series dives into deep themes of self discovery, mental health, trauma, power, and emotional vulnerability. The story is officially told in 6 books, but there are novellas you can read in between and at the end that give more context and perspective, especially from Warner's point of view. Honestly, the heart of the series is Juliet's internal struggle, her fear of her powers, her desire to be loved, and her journey from being a scared, isolated girl to a powerful, self assured leader. Let's talk about expectations and managing them. If you're coming in expecting the kind of dystopian world building you get in The Hunger Games, Divergent, or even The Maze Runner, this is going to feel very different. The early books do have those classic dystopian elements like a brutal regime, a crumbling society, a protagonist who's seen as a threat because of their powers. But while books like Divergent and Delirium emphasize societal critique and system level revolution, Shatter Me focuses on personal growth. In Divergent, Triss challenges an entire faction system. In Delirium, Lena escapes a world where love is outlawed. In Matched, Cassia questions a society that chooses everything for you, your job, your partner, even your death. But in Shatter Me, Juliet's arc is about confronting her trauma and accepting herself than fighting a system. The Reestablishment, the villainous organization in Shatter Me, is more of a backdrop than a fully fleshed out political structure. We know it's a global regime, the world is divided into sectors, and the environment is collapsing. But there's little detail about how the system works on a day to day level or how it came to power. Even Omega Point, the supposed resistance, doesn't last long. It's not about the rebellion, it's about Juliet's transformation. Romance isn't just central here, it dominates. In Matched and Delirium, love challenges the system. In Shatter Me, it becomes the story. The emotional tension, the trust building, the trauma bonding, it's intense. And honestly, I didn't mind. When I first picked up the book, what stood out to me was the writing. Mafi's writing is one of the most distinctive things about this series. The strike throughs, fragmented sentences, and metaphors are all there to reflect Juliet's fractured mental state. I get it. And while I appreciated that in book one, it did get a little repetitive in the middle books. That said, however, the language was easy to digest. This wasn't a high barrier read. I flew through each book even when the pacing slowed down. At first, I was hooked by the dystopian world and Juliet's strange power that I thought would continue to be unveiled as I progressed through the story. But what kept me going were the emotional stakes and the relationships. I didn't come for the romance, but I definitely stayed for it. I didn't even need it to be spicy. It was enough when the characters began to trust each other, to see each other clearly. That kind of intimacy, I am always here for it. The first book, of course, was gripping because it set the tone. But Ignite Me was by far my favorite. That's when Juliet finally stops running from who she is and begins to master her powers. It felt like a training montage moment, her true transformation. Think caterpillar to butterfly. I really like it when the author shows that the protagonist, although powerful, still has to learn and will face challenges as they develop and own their skills or powers. More relatable in a sense. On the flip side, Restore Me almost lost me. It nearly broke me. The emotional low in that book hit hard, and I was tempted to skim just to get through to the good parts. I pushed through it, don't worry, but it wasn't easy. When Adam was first introduced, I thought, okay, here's the love interest. He was safe, protective, familiar, but Warner was a different beast entirely. At first, I pegged him as the villain, maybe even a manipulative one. But the more we saw him, the more layers came out, the more we learned how much we misunderstood him. He was intense, emotionally wounded, and fiercely loyal. When Juliet and Adam drifted apart, I didn't even feel sad. I felt the heartbreak every time Juliet and Warner were separated. They were equals in a way that made sense emotionally and narratively. Their connection felt deep and earned, and even with all the baggage. So, yeah, Team Warner, 100%. Some scenes just stayed with me, like when Juliet gets shot and Warner is begging Sonia and Sarah to heal her. He was desperately trying to convince them that they can use him to heal her. Or when Juliet defends him in front of her friends who only know him as a psychopath and an evil person. Or when Adam lashes out and Juliet presses the page repeatedly for Warner to pick her up, only for him to burst in the room, pull her into his arms, and upon finding out that Adam kicked her out of his house, he already starts planning to set up her friends in his private training quarters, unlike his initial reaction the day before. He knew this was important to her. And that moment when Warner has a panic attack and Kenji was there for him, even though they were far from being close, even the relationship throughout the series is a comedy meets slow burn bromance. I wasn't fully satisfied with how Imagine Me ended. It felt like a rushed wrap up. Thankfully, Believe Me helped me give some closure to Juliet and Warner's relationship. Still, I would love to see more about the aftermath, like the Supreme Children, the rebuilding of society, new threats. If Mafi writes more, I'll be there. So, do I recommend the Shatter Me series? Yes, but with caveats. If you're looking for complex world building, revolution strategy, or a plot driven dystopia, this might not satisfy you. But if you want emotional arcs, introspection, and love, then this delivers. So, these are my thoughts. Have you read the books yet? Do you agree or disagree with what I've just shared? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. I'll see you in the next one.